6 o'clock. If the quay is closed later for an event, please use the alternative stop by the multi-storey Quay Visitors Car Park.
Oh, there's not many people wanting to go back to Bournemouth. Oh, that's where most people get off, Paul. Oh, he's hesitant. I reckon you'll do it at Bournemouth where it's quieter. Oh, we'd be able to move to right at the back. Yeah, we will once everyone's off. We'll move seats. Oh, sit in the back seats you did on Dave's job. So, yeah, do you want to move?
If you guys want to sit, you go first.
There we go. Ask him to beat the horn at Bournemouth Pier.
It's really warm now.
Yeah.
And Tracy? You known Tracy for a long time, haven't you? She
Yeah.
would have known you when you were brand new. I think you were 3, weren't you, when you started at Portfield?
Yeah. I was. Move to the back. And girls. No, we're in there. So that's... You haven't done me in the show Army's car, yeah?
If it goes flying, you're going to have to catch it, Carl.
Oh, already, mate. I know, one.
Remember, I don't know if you would have known Jude. She didn't work in the school much. She did the nights in the houses.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she was lovely. Bev, remember Bev?
Oh, yeah.
Claire Mitchell, can you remember her? She worked in the houses.
I think so.
She was Scottish.
David's gone back in.
Who else? Jerry
Yeah, I remember Jerry.
and Tracy Warner.
Yeah. This is ass. GDZ.
We are now taking a route around Beta Park. The roads we are travelling on include Newfoundland Drive and Labrador Drive, referencing the strong links with the Canadian fisheries. In 1497, a John Cabot was given letters by the king to go and seek a western route to Asia. What he found instead was Newfoundland, where the waters were so teeming with fish, the boats were impeded. The discovery more than 500 years ago resulted in great prosperity for the town of Poole, whose fleet over time would grow to more than 300 vessels. Often, vessels would spend 2 summers and 1 winter in Newfoundland, and large numbers of people from Poole settled there. And it is said that the true Dorset dialect lasted much longer in the remote North American colony than it did here. If you follow the Harbourside Walk, you will see the remains of the Powder House, a purpose-built store for gunpowder. After there was a fire on Poole Quay, very close to a warehouse storing gunpowder, it was decided that the risk was too great for the town, and that gunpowder should be stored away from the quayside. In 1775, the building was constructed on the shoreline at Beta. With only a small door and 1 small window, the walls were 2 foot thick, and the roof was of a light construction, so if there was ever an explosion, it would be contained within the walls, and only the roof would be blown off. Fortunately, its design was never tested. Across Beta Park on our right was a small island, joined to the town by a causeway that had an isolation hospital on it, a place where people with contagious diseases such as smallpox would come and be treated. In reality, for many, it was the place where their days ended. Nearby was also the site where victims of the Black Death were buried. The plague is understood to have reached these shores from continental Europe in 1348 through the port of Weymouth in West Dorset. Once infected, people would not become ill for 5 or 6 days, giving them the opportunity to spread the disease throughout the community. Death occurred in 60% of cases, and England's population shrunk by between 1/3 and 1/2. Whilst the plague still exists in some parts of the world, it is now easily treatable and no longer poses such a threat. We cannot leave the shore of Poole Harbour without mentioning the flying boats that were once a common sight on the water. As aviation began to take off in the beginning of the 20th century, the south coast began to see many air pageants and air races. In days where airstrips were rare, planes would take off and land on any piece of suitable flat land. Indeed, in 1910, Charles Rolls, who started the Rolls-Royce company, was the first person to be killed in a powered flight accident when his plane crashed on such a piece of land at Haggesbury Head to the east of Bournemouth. During the 1930s, large flying boats were developed that would open up new routes to destinations without adequate facilities to land the conventional plane. Poole became an important centre for the starting off point from the UK to destinations around the world, including the USA and Canada, India and Burma, Hong Kong, Singapore, and even Australia. Throughout the war and until 1948, the British Overseas Airways Corporation, which was to eventually become British Airways, had 600 staff based in Poole to support their flying boat services. There were up to 24 of its passenger flying boats based in the harbour.
Is that even there?
No.
Poole Hospital to your left is the main hospital for the area, with a busy accident and emergency department and specialist maternity suite. Every year, an average of 3,800 babies are born in the hospital. That's just over 10 a day, but it can be up to 20. Bournemouth Hospital does also have a maternity suite, but Poole deals with all Bournemouth babies that are early or experiencing complications during delivery. One benefit of a stay in Poole Hospital is the fine views many of the wards have over Poole Harbour. Not far away was the factory of the famous Poole pie manufacturer Millers. The bakery and pie factory was opened in 1937 and grew into one of the biggest pie and sausage roll producers in the country. Pigs would arrive and go into one end of the factory, and pies and sausage rolls would come out of the other end. It was said the only part of the pig they didn't use was the squeal.
And that's so fun. We are there. It's us. Why did that car go right in front of us? Yes! That's what happened to Dave.
Poole sits in the county of Dorset. It is run by Dorset County Council, based at County Hall in Dorchester. A few lesser known facts about Dorset. The county of Dorset stretches from Christchurch in the east to Lyme Regis in the west, and that's Sherborne and Gillingham in the north, not to be confused with the identically spelt Gillingham in Kent. It covers an area of about 100 square miles, or 2.5 2,500 square kilometres. The county has 8 members of parliament, all are Conservative. The county has a population of about 750,000 people, of which approximately half live at Bournemouth Pool. The Celtic name of Dorsetshire apparently means the place of fisticuffs. The Dorset lager is grown in Dorset and is said to be the hottest chili in the world. It has an average score of 923,000 Scoville heat units. The first fossil shop in Britain was opened in Lyme Regis in 1826. It was run by Mary Anning, whose family found fossils from the cliffs to sell to tourists. Mary became an expert in the field, joined the Geological Society because she was a woman.
We're going to make it really loud when we press it. I don't think there's roadworks here anymore. So there was roadworks here when we was on the other David's bus. Yeah. City signs here. We went on the bus today as well. We were so silly. I've pretty much with bus stop. Didn't ring the bell on this one, I didn't. Another if he doesn't go on the green light. So if he doesn't go on the green light, he's going to be jumped. I swear that David beats every time. So your taxi driver wouldn't have wanted to mess with it in your taxi. Oh, I think we're first. No, we're not. But how can people not see a big red bus, though? It is an air horn. It is an air horn, this one. But it's been another bitch. VBN didn't have to treat anyone. VBN to us. It's happening. That ticket said it would have found Dammy tied down not to be there for Angel's bus. Yeah, he would have been on this. He's probably wondering where we are. That did a bigger tweet for VBN and that didn't. All that set, all good tweets about that.
We're heading through Branksome. Until the late 19th century, the area was mainly unbuilt heath and woodlands. With the development and growth of nearby Bournemouth, the area became popular as a place to live. With the development of the railways, Branksome continued to grow, served by the new Victorian line between Wimborne, Poole and Bournemouth. Branksome railway station, which still serves the area today, helped encourage a massive growth in the early 20th century. The area became an official suburb of Poole in the 1960s, and by the 1980s almost all open areas of Branksome were built upon. One notable resident of Branksome was Lord Ventry, the airship pioneer. We now return to County Gates, marking the old county boundary of Dorset and Hampshire. The large building in the centre of the roundabout is the headquarters of LV, formerly Liverpool Victoria. As a mutual society, LV has no shareholders and is owned by its members, nor are all the policyholders of Liverpool Victoria Friendly Society Limited. Previous to LV, the building was home to Frizzell Insurance, and the roundabout is still to this day known locally to many as Frizzell Roundabout. There are a number of other large insurance and finance companies based in Bournemouth, the most notably being JP Morgan Chase, the American bank. Their large campus is located just as you come into Bournemouth and is home to more than 4,000 employees. Bournemouth is seen as a good place to set up business. One of the key benefits is that when recruiting regionally, nationally or even internationally, it is seen as being a great place to come and live for prospective employees.
It's going to beat that more us. No, he didn't. Not that one. He beat the number 60. Oh, that's traffic. Why, what's he done?
Now passing through Westbourne, notice that most of the retailers here are independent shops, bucking the national trend for homogenised high streets. An affluent area, many of the shops offer a superior range of luxury goods to suit the local clientele. To your right is the glass roof Westbourne Arcade, which hosts, amongst other things, a private cinema. To your left, spot the Tesco's local, hidden in an old church, and look at the impressive facade of the bingo hall, once the Grand Cinema.
Make it something to the hall of there. Does have a different engine to the other ones. not until we use the honk now.
Bournemouth Airport, a few miles to the north, has one of the longest runways in the south of England and often welcomed Concorde. The airport opened in 1941 as RAF Home, and as part of its wartime duties, it was home to a range of aircraft, including Spitfires, Wellingtons and Typhoons. Towards the end of 1942, it became a base for a number of American squadrons.
I do it said one,
Some
sorry.
facts and figures about Bournemouth, its residents and its visitors. The population of Bournemouth is approximately 162,500. Bournemouth has 5.5 million visitors a year. The value of tourism to the town is £480 million a year, and it supports 16,500 jobs. A total of 53,000 foreign students visit Bournemouth each year, studying at 34 recognised language schools. The Littledown Centre is the most successful leisure facility in the south of England, with approximately 1.5 million visits a year.
With their natural harbours, both Poole and Christchurch have been established trading ports since the time of the Romans. Where Bournemouth is now was for many years common land between the two, given over to grazing. Much like the New Forest, the soil is very sandy and acidic, no good for growing crops, but okay for herding and grazing livestock. Pockets of heathland still exist in the borough, most notably along the top of the Overcliff and at Hengistbury Head. The Dorset heathlands are home to all 6 of Britain's reptiles, 3 snakes and 3 lizards. But can you name them? The adder is England's only venomous snake, though rarely fatal. The grass snake is the prettiest but stays well hidden, and the rarest of all is the smooth snake. The common lizard and the bigger sand lizard thrive on the heathlands and can be easily seen if you take a quiet, gentle stroll on a sunny day. Often found under old bits of tin, the slow worm looks like a small snake, but is actually a legless lizard. The area known as the Triangle is just a 5-minute walk to the seafront via Commercial Road, and is the hub of the Bournemouth gay scene. It is a vibrant part of town full of bars, restaurants, cafes and various shops. Every year during the summer, Bournemouth Free, which is Bournemouth's Pride March, takes place around here, along with other events focusing on the arts and culture. The main Triangle area is also home to the Bournemouth Central Library, which opened in 2003 at a cost of £9.5 million. In the British Construction Industry Awards competition, it won the Prime Minister's Better Public Building Award.
I filmed all of it! I filmed. Oh my god. He actually nearly did. Oh yeah, animal busters do stop by mooning his squared. Balls out, he's gonna be. Do you reckon he will beat us? Yeah. Well, he did say when he gets back. He didn't want to do it until he got back. Where did Tim go, Mick? Yeah. I think he went to the arcade and then he got banged. Oh, people are getting off the square. They're getting off the. So that means he might be able to do it at the pier. Yeah,